The following is a live sports presentation of Glycod. GLICOD.com.
Glycod's coverage of IBEW Local 369 Central Kentucky High School basketball starts now.
Good evening from the farm. Frederick Douglass High School in Lexington. Joe Cox and Rick Reams here tonight. It may be cold and blustery outside, but inside it's hot and it's getting hotter because you've got some really talented basketball opponents matching up tonight. One of the great rivalries of the area, Rick. Frederick Douglass Broncos, Scott County Cardinals.
Yeah, big game tonight. I tell you what, interesting to see both these teams coming off losses, see how they can respond tonight, coming out and playing, as you said, a rivalry game against these two schools. And it's going to be interesting tonight to see how these teams can respond from those losses. Douglass especially, huge loss against a huge rival in Bryan Station. Station comes over here, puts it to Douglass. And, is Douglass going to have a hangover? Are they going to be able to kind of get over the hump and get back in the win column?
It's been a challenging season for the Broncos. A year ago, they only lost 3 games all year, and the season ended in the semifinals in Rupp Arena, 1 game shy of the state championship. Well, they returned most of those players, but they're sitting at 9-6 coming in tonight. It's just been a matter of getting everybody on the floor together and in the flow of the game together, still working out the chemistry. But the good thing, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Plenty of time for them. And then Scott County comes in off a 4-game losing streak, but they're going to forget about that tonight if they can pick up the win here at Frederick Douglass.
Yeah, there's no better way to get back on that horse than to come in to your opponent's gym and get a big victory here tonight. So it'll be interesting to see. These two teams have already played this year with Douglass winning in overtime in the Billy Hicks Classic, 72-65 on December the 9th. So, these teams, they've played against each other. These guys know each other. So tonight on the court, it's going to be mano a mano. Who's the best team going to win?
Looking forward to it. We're going to step aside for a word from some of our sponsors. On the other side of the break, some pregame comments from Frederick Douglass head coach Stefan Harris. The Broncos and the Cardinals of Scott County coming up here on Glycod.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
We first opened during the Great Depression, and we've been open for over 85 years now. Through everything that's come our way, we've stayed open by working to make life easier, better, and fresher. By making a real difference in the communities we serve. And by being the kind of place where your money always goes a little further. That's why we're open. Come see for yourself.
This is your season to save on our incredible selection of new Kias from Cardtown Kia. You can't beat the powerful design of the new 2024 Sportage.
It's your choice. The new 2023 Kia Sportage, just $349 down and $349 per month, or the new 2023 Kia Sorento, just $349 down and $349 per month.
Unmatched design, performance, and savings all in one at Cardtown Kia and CardtownKiaUSA.com.
For more than 35 years, online and through our branch office locations, Ruoff Mortgage has helped people discover, finance, and move into their homes with confidence. From the moment you send in an application to the day you get the keys, Ruoff keeps things moving exceptionally fast. By sharing knowledge and professional guidance, Ruoff Mortgage helps people see the potential and excitement in the homeownership experience. Visit one of our convenient branch locations or get started online at ruoff.com.
For any of your window, door, and siding needs, contact the team at Elite Building Products. Their factory-certified, licensed, and insured contractors have been installing energy-efficient windows and doors for over 30 years. They also offer energy tax credits and military veteran discounts. Locally owned and open weekdays at 242 Wilson Drive, just off of the 27 bypass. For a free estimate, call 859-887-2440. Elite Building Products.
Let's get real. For a lot of people, 4 years of college might as well be $1 million. With us, you can get a certificate in a matter of months and start a career right away. College for the real world. College for your world.
This edition of Coach's Comments is brought to you by Bluegrass Community and Technical College. Get started by finding the program that works for you at bluegrass.kctcs.edu. Bluegrass Community and Technical College. Never underestimate you.
Takes on a Scott County team, and talking to Coach Harris here. And Coach, let's talk a little bit about the other night. You know, it's one of those tough games, but tell me a little bit about what you saw.
I saw us playing probably the worst game that we played all year offensively. In Bryan Station, we watched 5 games on them, and it seems as though they shot probably the best game that they've shot all year.
So how do your kids respond from that? We talked about that's a big game, big time atmosphere. You come back, you have a couple days of practice. Tell me a little bit about your team.
They were down, just naturally, they were down the next day. We watched a lot of film, and we saw that a lot of the mistakes that were made are a lot of the positives that Bryan Station had were on us and things that could be corrected. So we watched a lot of film. We learned from that. Had a great practice yesterday. So I expect to see a different outcome tonight from our boys.
Got a Scott County team, 4 straight losses,
yes,
but you can't look at that as a coach. I know you don't. Tell me a little bit about what you know about them and what you expect to see from them.
They play extremely hard. They're well coached. This is a rivalry game. I don't know if people know that, but ever since Douglas has opened football and basketball, and I'm sure the other sports as well, Scott County and Frederick Douglass is a rivalry from when, and it started from football. So we play each other hard every year, and I know they're going to come in and try to get a win against us, and we're going to come out and try to improve from the mistakes we made in the past and get a win against them.
Tell me a little bit about, this is still early in the district season.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about your mindset to your team about that game against Station.
It was 1 loss. We still control our own destiny. If we control everything that we can control, we'll let everything else play out. Bryan Station still has to play Henry Clay, Sayre, and Scott County. It was both teams' first district game. As long as we worry about us, improve us, and take care of, we control our own destiny.
What do you hope to see from your team tonight?
A lot of energy. I hope to see a lot of energy, a lot of upbeat. We kind of changed our format that we normally do on game days. We normally have film and practice and walk through. Today we let the kids go home, take a nap, get a little rest, because, as coaches, we kind of thought, they're here from 7 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, and that's got to be a long day. So we're trying to switch things up a little bit and see if that helps, see if that gives them, because we felt like in the Bryan Station game, we came out a little flat.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I know you try to push the right buttons.
Absolutely. You're
still dealing with high school kids.
Absolutely.
You're trying to get them out there. So, Coach, I'm excited to see this game tonight.
Yes, sir.
Excited to be back with you. Thanks for your time.
Yes,
Have
sir.
a blessed day. We'll see you on the court.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back on Glycod.
Let's get real. You could go to work right after high school, but spend a little time with us, and we'll give you a better chance to do more, be more, and earn more. College for the real world. College for your world.
Paramedics do the incredible. They help save lives. And so can you by donating at CSL Plasma. Your plasma donation can help create 24 critical life-saving medicines. And you can be rewarded for your generosity. Every plasma donation can do so much for so many. Do the amazing. Help save lives. Donate plasma today at your local CSL Plasma Center.
Tradition means values, and we want a banker who has the same philosophy. Traditional Bank is a Kentucky-based business, and that does mean a lot to a business that is based in Kentucky. They know what we're going through. They are always there for us. and that means more than anything else. My name is Allison. I choose traditional bank because of the personal service. Paddle on into Canoe, Kentucky.
New recruit, take advantage of our apprenticeship program. Come out of our 4-year course debt-free. With health insurance, a guaranteed pension, a degree, and an electrical license.
3 words I'd use to describe the apprenticeship are opportunity, skillful, educational,
solid career path,
rewarding, beneficial, and a brotherhood.
A life-changing opportunity.
The cost of school is free. All your books are paid for.
You go to school once every 2 weeks. All the other stuff is on-the-job training.
The teachers here are great. They're all very, very knowledgeable.
They're preparing you for what you're already seeing in the field.
If you're struggling with something in school, sometimes your fellow students can help you work through that.
Everyone's willing to help each other. It's like a big family.
I love being a part of a union, something bigger than myself.
This field is so vast. You can find something that you really love to do because there is so much you can do with it.
I went from a job to a life-changing career.
Power up your potential with the IBEW.
The Martin family has been in the trucking industry for over 3 generations. My grandfather started this company selling salvage parts in the 1960s, and we're celebrating over 20 years as a Peterbilt dealer. Although we've grown and changed over the years, our focus has always been on you. We get it. When your truck's down, you're not making money. That's why we keep thousands of quality parts in stock so you can get back on the road as soon as possible. At Martin's Peterbilt, relationships matter, and that's why we've been around for generations. Come see us.
You're watching Central Kentucky High School Basketball from Glycod.
Frederick, Douglas, and Scott County coming up just now, about 24 minutes away. And before we go any further, tonight's keys to the game are presented by Martin's Peterbilt of Central Kentucky. They strive to keep your trucks moving through outstanding parts, availability, and unmatched service, all while glorifying Jesus Christ and building relationships. Keys to the game. What's on your mind tonight, Rick Reams?
Well, if we start off with Douglas, they've got to avoid a hangover of that loss against Station. I mean, that hurt, and these kids are just kids. They wanted that win. Then they got to get DeMarcus Surratt back in the game, back in rhythm. He was off for 3.5 weeks with sickness and just has been a little bit off, a little bit at a time, get more and more into the game, and they're hoping that'll continue tonight. If you're Scott County, you have to have amnesia. You've got to forget about those 4-game loss. We talked about it. This is a new game and new night, and then the big thing against a team that likes to press, likes to put pressure, you got to limit your turnovers. You cannot give Douglas too many free opportunities.
Yeah, let's talk about Surratt a little bit because he's one of the few guys here who wasn't part of last year's state semifinal team. He was over at Lafayette. But here he is, an excellent scorer, averages 16 a game. But as you noted, he's been out a while, and just the chemistry aspect, you're trying to get him back in the lineup. You got Busen and Chenault, who were on the football team that went to the semifinals. So they're just kind of rounding into basketball form. It's certainly still very early for a Douglas team that really is just now getting the point to kind of put all the pieces together and see what happens.
And this is the time of year when you need to do it. You're starting your district play. You've got to come in here and get some big victories. You had that loss against Station, but again, you've got to just keep on coming out. And, Joe, the only way to get better chemistry is to keep playing with each other. If you can get Surratt back from that illness or whatever kept him off the court for 3.5 weeks, it's going to be a work in progress. But what you want to see is you want to see every game him getting more comfortable. But I think your point is even more important, everyone else around him getting comfortable with him being on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found that interesting, the comments from Coach Harris. A lot of coaches are very buttoned down with regard to their routine and how they want to arrange things. I found it a little refreshing that he says, okay, maybe we were a little flat. Maybe we switch it up a little bit. Let's see if getting these guys off the court for a few hours, getting them a break kind of refreshes them. I'm going to be very interested to see how that pans out.
Well, what's the old saying, Joe? If it's not broke, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, the other night they were broke, so he's trying to fix it. What's one way you can fix it? Let's switch things up. Let's see what happens. Now, if I'm a kid from Douglas and, man, I got to go home and take a nap, I'm going to play well tonight, because I would like that for that to be the game routine.
That's it. I think if I'm Douglas, I want to win by 40 and say, Coach, we'd have won by 60 if you'd given me a couple more hours.
Exactly, exactly.
No, for Scott County, coming in, riding that 4-game losing streak, I think a lot of this game is going to come down to getting off to a good start, putting the ball in the basket. They've struggled some there. They've got some talented kids, but you've got to shoot the ball better than they've been shooting it. You talked about the turnovers, and obviously that's even worse than a missed shot, because you can rebound a missed shot. You can't do anything with a turnover except play defense.
Well, and the key is, you and I are not brain surgeons, but in order to win a game, you got to score more points than the other team. And the part of that is, as you said, you got to get those shots off. What they can't have is they cannot let Douglas start off fast, because they want them to relive that game on Tuesday night. Yeah. They want them to be uncomfortable with them out here. So what you got to do is, if you're Scott County, you've got to take the upper hand and get a fast start and see if you can go from there.
Yeah, because this Douglas team, they're long, they're athletic. It's one of those things where you let these guys go in transition, you might end up on TV and not in the way you want to end up on TV.
Avion Chenault can dunk anywhere on the gym. Surratt's the same way. These guys, we talked about it, Terry Kaysen can do the same thing. So, they are highlight films waiting to happen. What you don't want is you don't want them to get going with that play.
Yeah, well, back in the 80s, everybody, wanted to end up on a poster, but you didn't want to end up on a poster with Michael Jordan, because he was probably dunking on you. So, Scott County, there's got to be an element of that. Before we go any further, I want to point out that this broadcast is authorized by Frederick Douglass High School, with production rights owned by Glycod Media. Our aim is to provide the most positive representation for all participating student athletes, coaches, and game personnel. Thank you for watching. We're going to take another break here from some more of our sponsors, as well as from Scott County Cardinals head coach Tim Glenn. Stay tuned. Words from Coach Glenn on the other side, and the Broncos and the Cardinals now only about 19 minutes away here on Glycod.
Home of excellent service, support, and satisfaction, Lexington Outdoor Power Equipment is your one-stop mower shop. Family owned since 1985, Lexington Outdoor offers top brands like Husqvarna, Toro, Grasshopper, and Echo. Plus, free pickup and delivery. Located just 2 miles west of Douglas High School, they're open weekdays and most Saturday mornings. For more info, stop in or visit their website at lexoutdoorpower.com. Lexington Outdoor Power Equipment, the right equipment for the right job.
Drive with the confidence and security of a pre-owned Kia from Cartown Kia. This incredible certification package is loaded with a 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, 10 years of national roadside assistance, and 2 years of free maintenance. Choose from over 70 certified pre-owned Kias or over 1,000 vehicles of all makes and models. It's new car driving at used cars prices with certified pre-owned Kias from CartownKiaUSA.com.
I love Head Start.
Children love Head Start, and you will too. Community Action Council's prep academies are hiring now. Head Start is an early childhood education program for children from birth to age 5. Help us give more children the Head Start advantage.
Teacher, what are you waiting for?
Join our team of dedicated education professionals. Apply online today at comaction.org. What are you waiting for?
I'm your overly competitive brother. Psych, and I'm about to steal this game from you, just like I stole Kelly Carter in high school, huh? No! And now you're ready to settle a score. Game over. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, well, you can end up paying for all this yourself. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Thanks, bro.
Take a lap, rookie.
Contact Louisville and Lexington Allstate agent Thomas Allen for a quote today.
With Fast Signs, see the visual possibility in your business. See it in lights and flags, on a van, in metal, on the floor, in color. With signs and graphics, you can say anything, do anything, be anything. So make your statement. With your masterful team of visual marketing experts, anything is possible. Fast Signs, make your statement.
We first opened during the Great Depression, and we've been open for over 85 years now. through everything that's come our way. We've stayed open by working to make life easier, better, and fresher. By making a real difference in the communities we serve. And by being the kind of place where your money always goes a little further. That's why we're open. Come see for yourself.
You're watching Central Kentucky High School Basketball from Glycod.
Joe Cox talking with Coach Tim Glenn of the Scott County Cardinals ahead of tonight's matchup with Douglas. Coach, kind of a tough season so far. You come in here tonight on a losing streak, but at this time of year, every game is a chance to reset the dial.
It is. It's we get, like I say, this whole season, especially the first part of it. A lot of these guys have never been in these type of situations. None of them were starters last year. Just kind of getting their feet wet. We've tried a lot of different combinations, older guys, younger guys, different things, and we've had some success, but I sure didn't do them any favors scheduling. So we've played a pretty tough schedule up to this point, and then of course in our district now it's with Henry Clay, Bryan Station, Douglas, and Sayre. Sayre's good as well. So I say I think that's going to help us in the long run. I know you don't want to get beat down and things like that. We talk on the system, but I think we've been in some situations that can help us, because if you're going to have a chance to win that region and get out of it, you better be tested. Coming into that. So.
Well, and one of those probably the prior game you played with Douglas. Very competitive. Went down the wire. Went to overtime. What do you think your team learned from that first game that they can hopefully use tonight?
We're going to take care of the ball a little better than we did last time. I think we had 21 turnovers. We have traditionally not turned the ball over that bad. We went down to Mayo and had a bad turnover game down there, and against Douglas we had 21 turnovers, but still guarded them pretty well and stayed in front of them and gave us a chance to win. So tonight we're going to have to make some shots, but we'll have to stay in front of them. But I think taking care of the ball will give us a chance to win. So.
Yeah, not a very senior-heavy team, but you've got a pretty tough junior class. Your two top scorers, Tristan Christopher, Ben Glenn, those guys are juniors. Who do you look to step up tonight? Who's going to be
Tristan, we've traditionally done very well when Tristan kind of gets going. He's a kid that, he's got a good college body, a junior kid who, again, just now kind of coming into himself, and he can do a lot off the dribble, but he also shooting 40-something% from three-point line. And Ben Glenn is more of a kid that we kind of set him up to where he can get it. 8-10 foot, has a beautiful little jump shot, and he's kind of a 1 or 2 dribble man. So you get him that shot where he can get 1 or 2 dribbles and give a jump shot off. So those two, we got to get those guys shots in those spots, and then we got to have some other people coming along. We've got a couple of different changes in the lineup tonight. We'll got one young man probably going to put in, seeing who they start, but probably going to have one of our sophomore kids going to start out, and he's done a good job over the past little bit. So we'll test him a little more.
Yeah. Should be a good one. Looking forward to it. That's Tim Glenn of the Scott County Cardinals ahead of tonight's matchup with Frederick Douglass here on Glycod.
Donating plasma is an easy way to earn up to $600 a month as a new donor while saving lives. That's right. Every donation you make helps patients in need survive and thrive. Returning donors also see monthly bonus payouts and I Give Rewards points. Go to cslplasma.com to learn more about plasma donation. CSL Plasma. Good for you, great for life.
Let's get real. With us, you'll get a great education that can lead to a great career faster. Even better, you won't end up with crippling debt. College for the real world. College for your world.
New recruit, take advantage of our apprenticeship program. Come out of our 4-year course debt-free. With health insurance, a guaranteed pension, a degree, and an electrical license.
3 words I'd use to describe the apprenticeship are opportunity, skillful, educational,
solid career path,
rewarding, beneficial, and a brotherhood.
A life-changing opportunity.
The cost of school is free. All your books are paid for.
You go to school once every 2 weeks. All the other stuff is on-the-job training.
The teachers here are great. They're all very, very knowledgeable.
They're preparing you for what you're already seeing in the field.
If you're struggling with something in school, sometimes your fellow students can help you work through that.
Everyone's willing to help each other. It's like a big family.
I love being a part of a union, something bigger than myself.
This field is so vast. You can find something that you really love to do because there is so much you can do.
I went from a job to a life-changing career.
Power up your potential with the IBEW.
For more than 35 years, online and through our branch office locations, Ruoff Mortgage has helped people discover, finance, and move into their homes with confidence. From the moment you send in an application to the day you get the keys, Ruoff keeps things moving exceptionally fast. By sharing knowledge and professional guidance, Ruoff Mortgage helps people see the potential and excitement in the homeownership experience. Visit one of our convenient branch locations or get started online at ruoff.com.
This segment of tonight's game is brought to you by Ruoff Mortgage. For an intuitive, simple, and stress-free mortgage process, visit ruoff.com. Ruoff Mortgage, opening doors.
Joe Cox and Rick Reams with you from Frederick Douglass High School, where we're getting ever closer to this cold night with a matchup of two teams that both could use a W. Thought it might be interesting, particularly after hearing from the coaches, to look back at that prior game, and 72-65 was the final in overtime. And boy, yeah, if you want a path to some success for Scott County, that first game, Tristan Christopher had 26 points. I do notice Douglas was +8 on the backboard in that game. That could be certainly a thing to watch, Rick. Again, the Broncos look like they have more size, particularly on the front line. But, you know, the other thing that jumps out for Scott County, their number 2 scorer, Ben Glenn, who averages about 11 a game, he only had 4 in that first game. So maybe that is something you can look to exploit this time to try to get Ben Glenn going and see if he can kind of offset Frederick Douglass from there.
Yeah, that's one of those things you just got to kind of look back at that game, try to make adjustments and make decisions on what you did right and what you did wrong. Again, I'm sure they talked about that -8 on the boards if you're Scott County, get some other players in. One of those games, again, goes to overtime, so you feel good if you're kind of both teams here have had good opportunities there. But tonight, what this Scott County team is, they're going to come in here. They're not going to be intimidated by this atmosphere. We talked about it, not a whole lot of fans here yet right now, but they're just going to come in here and play basketball. And they know, again, if they can go back to Georgetown with this victory, man, all of a sudden their year looks totally different.
It does, yeah. Meanwhile, from the first game, Frederick Douglass, here's a couple of interesting shooting facts. They were great at the foul line. They made 82% of their free throw attempts in that game. And, yeah, in a close game, that seems like a pretty good thing. But how's this for crazy? In that first game, no three-point baskets for Frederick Douglass, 0 for 13 from Trey. I would bet against that being the case tonight, Rick.
Yeah, you know, but the other night against Station, they had a lot of trouble from the three-point line. It wasn't that they weren't getting open shots. They just weren't hitting their shots.
Yeah.
Armello Boone was one, usually automatic from the three-point line. Had a lot of trouble getting that ball in the basket the other night. So that's one of those things, you know, when you think 0 for 13, that's definitely an outlier. But this team right now, although their three-point percentage is not bad on the year, being, you know, well, actually 31.3% is not great, but from the three-point line, that's something that they need to work on. But, you know, the one thing I've seen with a lot of teams is you don't want to rely on just the three. Move the ball inside. If you can't get it out, then fan it out for an easier three. So many teams just come down the court. First thing to do is just launch a three. You got to get into your offense. You don't just want to keep on running that three-point.
Yeah, that's how you go 0 for 13. And again, the good news if you're the Broncos is you had a game where you made no threes and you won, so you can't make less than none. So that would seem to bode pretty well. For Frederick Douglass, it's going to be interesting to see, again, Armello Boone and the guy we mentioned earlier, DeMarcus Surratt. They are the two big scorers. Plenty of guys who can score on this team, but Boone averaging just a shade under 23 a game. one of the elite scorers who can beat you in a lot of ways. He's about 6'4", so he can drive the ball down. He can pull up and shoot it. He's been pretty good at the foul line. Armello, as a young player, you felt like there was always going to be a little more. Well, we're getting closer, I think, to his potential. What can he do to get to that next level, Rick?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you've never seen him play, he is one of the smoothest basketball players that you'll see. I think one thing he needs to do is he needs to play within himself. Sometimes he gets a little bit ahead of himself, and that's just natural as he matures and everything. Being a junior this year, as you said, he's getting better and better. But that's one thing I see. And then also sometimes he needs to let the game come to him. Sometimes he forces the action too much. The other night, they were way down to Bryan Station. And as he kind of took over, but he also didn't force it as much. He let it come to him. They were able to make a comeback, and then all of a sudden they saw they were close, and he started forcing it again. So that's a hard thing to do when you're as good of a basketball player as he is. Sometimes you want to force the action, but I think it would behoove this team for him to let the game come to him because he's going to get his points. You can't stop him there, but he just can't have those bad shots.
One of the guys who I always keep an eye on for the Broncos, he kind of slips under the radar a little bit, but Logan Busen, every time I think of the guy, I think of a college player whose game reminds me very much of him, who was very big in this area, Mr. Chuck Hayes. A little bit undersized, just like Logan Busen, but a guy who could just get some things done. He could rebound some, he could pass some, he could score if you needed him to score. Logan Busen might have 2 points tonight, or he might have 20 points tonight, but he will have an impact on this game one way or another.
Well, the interesting thing about him the other night is he ran the point some. So they moved station, made them move out to guard him. He did a really good job. One thing, if you've not seen Logan Busen play, you can count on the fact he's going to have 30 or 40 spin moves in this game. That's his go-to. He gets that ball at the free throw line, he will spin, but like you say, but he does the little things. He gets on the floor to get the ball. He's got a football player mentality. He breaks through that line. He's able to get underneath, get rebounds, get the ball back in. So like you say, he's valuable to his team, whether he scores or not, just in the intangible ways.
Yep, and for Scott County, Tristan Christopher, that leading scorer, 15 a game. Again, had 26 in the first matchup with Douglas. That's not even his season high. He had 32 in a game in December against Barberville. He's a guy, 39% three-point shooter, and boy, they would love to get him locked and loaded early because a good start could be a game changer for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and we talked about that fact. He needs to be the guy that comes out there and sets the tone, makes Douglas, if you're a really good ball player and you can pull out Douglas to guard you, that gets some of your other players open. And that's one thing that Douglas, they know he's the top scorer. They know what he's done against them before. So what they have to do is they're going to have to man up on him and then make sure you don't double and triple team him and give open shots to someone else.
Absolutely, and some changes, a bit of a shift tonight in personnel for Scott County, and we're going to get to that shortly here, but tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Ruoff Mortgage, opening doors, and the changes in those starting lineups for the Cardinals. Those two leading scorers will be out there, Tristan Christopher and Ben Glenn, but Scott County making another move. Zaire Ray has been a consistent starter, and he's still in there, but a couple of shifts for them. We've got Phil Grimes, a sophomore, who is averaging only 2.4 a game. He's going to get the call tonight, and then Preston Luckett is their big guy. He goes about 6'5". He's only averaging about a basket a game, but I think it's a move from Coach Glenn to kind of shake things up a little bit and see if these guys can kind of jumpstart the Cardinals.
Well, and not only that, but you give these kids an opportunity to say, this is your night. You want to play more. You want to be constant in your starting lineup. I'm giving you this opportunity on the big stage tonight.
For Frederick Douglass, some of the same personnel that we always see. Armello Boone, we talked about him. Surratt trying to work his way into the rotation. Chenault, a super athlete out there at 6'2". Busen is just one of those everything guys. And then Chris Wright, who's kind of just a water bug little point guard, goes about 5'5", but man, is he quick.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that he's all over the court. He will, I call him, and I mean this positively, he's a gnat out on the court, meaning he gets in your way, he causes problems, and he can shoot the ball too, hit a couple big threes the other night. But yeah, they put him in there for his defense and for his ball handling skills, and he does a great job running the point.
Absolutely. So we'll be interested to see how these teams can get off to a good start. Maybe Wright can get some openings there. Again, his quickness, he can break down any defense. But Douglas looks to bounce back off the tough loss. Scott County looking to break a 4-game losing streak. We'll talk about it more on the other side of this break. Here is another word from our sponsors, and on the other side of that, we should have some hoops. Broncos, Cardinals coming up next here on Glycod.
Donating plasma is an easy way to earn up to $600 a month as a new donor while saving lives. That's right. Every donation you make helps patients in need survive and thrive. Returning donors also see monthly bonus payouts and I Give Rewards points. Go to cslplasma.com to learn more about plasma donation. CSL Plasma. Good for you, great for life.
Let's get real. With us, you'll get a great education that can lead to a great career faster. Even better, you won't end up with crippling debt. College for the real world. College for your world.
New recruit, take advantage of our apprenticeship program. Come out of our 4-year course debt-free. With health insurance, a guaranteed pension, a degree, and an electrical license.
3 words I'd use to describe the apprenticeship are opportunity, skillful, educational,
solid career path,
rewarding, beneficial, and a brotherhood.
A life-changing opportunity.
The cost of school is free. All your books are paid for.
You go to school once every 2 weeks. All the other stuff is on-the-job training.
The teachers here are great. They're all very, very knowledgeable.
They're preparing you for what you're already seeing in the field.
If you're struggling with something in school, sometimes your fellow students can help you work through that.
Everyone's willing to help each other. It's like a big family.
I love being a part of a union, something bigger than myself.
This field is so vast. You can find something that you really love to do because there is so much you can do.
I went from a job to a life-changing career.
Power up your potential with the IBEW.
For more than 35 years, online and through our branch office locations, Ruoff Mortgage has helped people discover, finance, and move into their homes with confidence. From the moment you send in an application to the day you get the keys, Ruoff keeps things